thing I want you to understand about Snowfall is how it changed the way that web design was looked at by designers. I Previously, web design was very limited. It was very limited to the templates. But in recent years, HTML5 has provided new powers to be able to do more with multimedia and web design, and to be able to give new storytelling powers to the reporters. So Snowfall really kind of opened everybody's eyes up to just what could be done with those newfound powers. So it was still pretty new when it came out, and then once it was out, it really kind of sparked a lot of different ideas. And really, one of the first things is that it allowed the biggest thing is it allowed web designers to break the templates that they were limited to before. Now, I'm talking about a template. If you look at a regular New York Times story, this is a centerpiece story from the New York Times. And you can see how what would be their main image in the print edition is in competition with an ad to the side. And as you scroll down, you can see these are all elements of their template that are running down the right side of the page. And so the designers only get to work in this column here, that gives them a small amount of space to be able to work in. So any images that they have, any graphics, all those things have to be crammed into this column here. And every story that the New York Times will put out will follow this template. This is very different from the way newspapers were when they were at their strength, because the strength of newspapers were you were starting with a blank template every single day and you had to redesign what that front page is going to look like. And so newspapers were allowed to develop front pages and develop designs that were specific to the stories that they were telling, and they could tell things that were use the design to help enhance the story, to be able to play to that story's strengths, and basically be able to create a custom design for every single story. And when done well, that design could help draw readers in by using graphics to get their attention, and spark their curiosity, and be able to just draw them into the conversation that the story would be able to was going to tell. So as you can see, these three designs that I've just scrolled through, each one of them is very different for three very different stories, and uses the design to be able to catch people's interest. And that's exactly what Snowfall does. If you look here on the opener for Snowfall, when you come here, you can see this is not the New York Times' regular, uh, the top of the regular New York Times website. As you can see, on this story, you have a navigation up here, a nav bar for the New York Times that's specific to the paper and to all of its different sections. Snowfall is essentially a standalone website that gives you a navigation to the different chapters of the story, but it's specific to the story itself. And then this opening scene here is reminiscent of a newspaper centerpiece design. It provides you a scene that's mysterious and kind of foreboding, and sets the tone for the story, which is what great design in newspapers always did. It was rare that you could see that in web design before Snowfall came out, because you just really, when you were locked in that template, you didn't have a lot of options to be able to get creative. But when you're able to build a standalone site like this using HTML5, you have a lot more options, a lot more power at your disposal to be able to create a design specific for the strengths of the story. So, and as you can see, when you would come to this site, the first thing you're going to see is you're going to see the video fade in, then the title fade in. Now the text comes in and invites you to scroll down further.